So I've watched it a couple times now, and I gotta do a response to the Jim Farley video talking about the tech shortage. So one of the things that I found kind of amusing is in his video he talks about the truck drivers, the plumbers, the electricians, HVAC techs. So you nailed down about a third of our job. So thank you for at least acknowledging that those are all things that are required skill sets for a technician in this day and age. So let me try and help understand. I don't know many techs that are doing this for the glamour. Okay? The glamour of twisting wrenches, there isn't any. It is a pretty brutal, physical, high impact job. It's stressful. There's a lot of moving parts. There is rapidly emerging and changing technology that we have to keep up with every year, with less and less information about the hows and whys, but we're expected to figure it out in most dealerships in a half hour or an hour. Right, cool. Ford went from a really good platform diagnostically with IDS to, and it wasn't perfect. Don't misunderstand me. It is not a perfect piece of software, but it is pretty damn effective once you learn how to use it. We went to FDRS, which is great, except you have to download just about every module to do anything. That takes more time. I've had individual tests that took 5-8 minutes to download. Now I'm down to what for my actual evaluation? Take into account that initial road test, duplicating the problem. If I'm in a dealership, I'm probably not doing either one. I'm probably pulling a code and sending it, right? Just fire up big old parts cannon and let it rip. Tater chip. Is it glamorous? No, it's not glamorous. But it is remarkably difficult to make a living. And now, there are guys and dealers, and I know a handful of them are probably cringing listening to this video. There are certainly guys in dealerships that have been there for a while, that are certified in Ford, that means senior master, who can take on anything and probably get through it pretty quickly. Sure. Look at independents. We don't get the luxury of working on one line or one brand or one or two brands. Ford Lincoln, that's one line. Let's be real. There's some subtle differences, but it's the same shit. Nissan Infiniti isn't. Honda Acura really isn't. Similar platforms, but the powertrains are widely different. Let's go even better. Let's look at Mini BMW. There is some crossover, but not a lot. The design philosophies are pretty similar, but the actual executions are pretty different. And I'm not complaining. I actually really enjoy BMW Mini products. I enjoy Ford Lincoln. I enjoy Subaru. There aren't a lot that I really don't enjoy that don't say Sprinter on them, and Jag. But let's be real, that's an owner problem, not a vehicle problem. But, it's really insulting to hear somebody who is clearly very white collar talking about how white collar college based jobs are more glamorous and more valuable. Whatever. Eat shit. You don't get to work without us. You don't operate without us. The guys at the bottom of the food chain, which in any dealership, anybody who's worked for an OEM, this is true whether you want to admit it or not. The service department is the bottom of the food chain. We're at the whim of sales, we're at the whim of management, we're at everyone's beck and call, and we spend most of our time getting kind of crapped on in the service department. Well, let's be real. You want to talk about why there's a technician shortage? Pay your people appropriately. Train your people appropriately. Give them the growth opportunities they need and deserve to stay there. They're giving you the commitment of their time. Invest in them. Provide these guys with tools. Don't make them go out and spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 conservatively in tooling to do the job. Provide the shit for them. Give them the opportunities so they don't have to go into a massive mountain of debt to do the job. Train these guys properly. Mentor them properly. Nurture the drive that is getting them in your door. Keep them there. Don't burn them out. It's not a meat grinder. Stop treating it like one. Techs are not expendable, and we're now starting to figure that out. You run people into the ground, you treat them like shit. Guess what? They're gonna leave. I'm shocked that that's even a question of why do we have a shortage. No, it seems like there's a lot of people that acknowledge there's a shortage, but nobody really wants to dive into why. We have been getting treated like shit for at least the 30 years I've been doing this. Very few shops take care of their techs properly. The ones that do, good luck getting the techs out of them. The techs aren't going to leave when they're being treated properly. I have never worked in a dealership where the techs are treated at an equitable level. I don't really care about fair, but it's not equitable when you're working straight flat rate, making 16 bucks an hour, and you're busting your ass to do tire rotations, oil changes, and recalls that pay a quarter of what they should. I mean, come on, guys. Be realistic about the culture and the environment that has been set up in dealerships and most shops for the last how many years? How many decades? I mean, come on. There has to be change in the industry. If we want to keep techs, there has to be change. And it has to be a major change. Techs need to be valued. The guys in the parts and service end of the business need to get treated like the guys in sales who move 20 or 30 units a week. What are you doing? Why are you questioning this? You created this. Now fix it.